It's the classic civilization, engine building, backstabbing game, all in Through the Ages, a new story of civilization.
And today we're diving into a quick start tutorial for Through the Ages. We'll explain everything you need to know if you want to get started quickly and pick up the details and icons as you go along, in 15 minutes or less.
15 minutes? Good luck, Tarrant. And hi everyone, it's Stella.
And Tarrant, welcome to Meeple University.
Like, subscribe, let us know in the comments if you enjoyed. Let's get to the classroom.
In Through the Ages, players are civilizations competing to gain the most culture. In this video, I'll start by explaining what your civilization, that is your player board and cards, will look like and how they work. Then I'll describe the turn sequence which lets you build and manage that civilization, and finally take you through the progression of the game from antiquity to the modern age. Your player board and its surrounds have space for cards, which represent technologies. You also have yellow cubes, which represent your population. For the most part, technology cards and population cubes mean nothing on their own. But when there's a yellow cube on a technology card, it represents a manned and functional building of that type. 2 cubes on one card are 2 buildings of that type, and so on. The benefits and productions of a building are shown at the bottom of the technology card. And so here I have 2 journalism and 1 religion, and altogether these produce 5 culture per round, 4 science per round, and have 1 happiness. The culture and science you produce are tracked on these boards, below the actual culture and science you hold. The science you hold can be spent on actions, the culture you hold is your victory points. Military strength and happiness have their own tracks, while other less common icons are simply added up when needed. You can always look back at your tableau to calculate where you should be on every track, with the exceptions of these 2, the culture and science you hold. Take care with these as they can't be back calculated. Brown cards are farming and mining technology, and you'll have yellow cubes representing the actual farms and mines, and blue cubes representing the food and resources they produce. Each cube represents as many food or resources as shown on its card, so these 2 cubes are 3 food. You spend these cubes back to your bank to take many actions, and can make change. This here would be considered spending 3 resources. Unused cubes are limited and stored left to right in your 2 banks. The game plays in turns, clockwise from the first player. Your turn resolves in 4 phases: start of turn, politics, actions, and end of turn. Through the turns, you'll interact with the card row, which is 13 civil cards laid out in a display, and with the deck of military cards. In your start of turn phase, discard cards from slots based on your player count, slide to fill all the spaces left by that and the previous player, and replenish. In your politics phase, you can play 1 military card from hand, but more on that later. Next is actions. You have a number of white and red cubes from your government and possibly from some other cards, and you spend these as action points to take civil and military actions respectively. Use any or all of these each turn because you'll get them all back in your end of turn phase. Options for civil actions are: take a card from the card row to your hand. This costs 1, 2, or 3 white cubes depending on where the card is. Your hand limit equals your total number of white cubes, and you cannot freely discard to make more space. You may never take a second copy of a same name non-yellow card. You can play a yellow action card. Pay 1 white cube and play and discard the card from hand for its text effect. These often give you cheaper ways of taking other actions. You can develop a technology. Pay 1 white cube plus the science cost of the card, and play it to the column of the tableau matching its icon, or create one if needed. High-level cards may be overlapped like so. You can increase population. Pay 1 white cube and food as shown below your rightmost yellow cube, which you then move to your unused worker pool. You can build a farm or mine, or an urban building which is anything grey. pay a white cube and the resource cost of the building to move an unused worker to the card, thus constructing that building as described earlier. Urban buildings are limited to no more yellow cubes per column than the urban building limit of your government. Other cards have no such limit. You can upgrade one of these buildings, pay the white cube, and the difference in resource cost to move a yellow cube up to a higher card. You can also destroy a building, pay a white cube to move the yellow cube back to the unused pool. Some actions cost red military cubes instead of white civil cubes. The first three are to build, upgrade, or disband yellow cubes on your red military technologies, and these are called units rather than buildings. You handle the blue and yellow cubes exactly as you were when taking a building action. The only difference is this costs a military cube instead of a civil one. Be clear that developing such a technology is still a civil action. It's only the handling of the units which is military. You can play a tactic. This doesn't use your civil hand, it requires you to have a dark red tactic card in your military hand. Play the card, pay a red cube, and mark it. Each combination of units you have matching the tactic now adds this extra strength. So these combine for 2 phalanxes and their total strength goes up from 10 to 16. You own the tactic for 1 full round, then must move it to the military board in your next start of turn. As an action phase action, a player may adopt any available tactic for 2 red cubes, and you may only have 1 active tactic at a time. I mentioned that cards require yellow cubes on them to function, but there are 4 types of cards which break this rule. In all cases, their effects, some in icons and some in text, apply automatically for the entire time that the card is active in your tableau. There are blue special technologies. Develop from hand by spending a civil action and the science as usual, and apply the effect. For these, a higher level card replaces rather than adds to a lower one. The green leader cards. As an action, play 1 from hand, and if you already have a leader, it replaces it, and you get that cube back to use again. You can never take more than 1 leader from the card row per age deck. Leader powers are among the most important drivers of your strategy. There are purple wonders. These are not gained from the card row in the usual way. They never enter your hand. To start a wonder, pay white cubes equal to the cost of its slot, plus 1 for each of your previously built wonders. Then place the wonder sideways in your tableau and under construction. These are then built in stages. As an action, pay a white cube and the next amount of resources to build the next stage. Once all stages have been built, the wonder becomes active and its effect applies. You may have at most 1 unfinished wonder at a time. Finally is orange governments. As an action, you can change your government, and there are 2 ways to do it. There's the peaceful way, pay a white cube and a higher science cost to replace the card, applying its new effect immediately. Or there's the revolution, pay the lower science cost and all of your white cubes, including new ones, making this your only civil action this turn. After actions is end of turn. Discard military cards down to your total number of red cubes. Next, check for an uprising. You need a happy population, and for each of the 8 yellow bank sections which is empty, you need at least 1 happiness or 1 unused worker, known here as a discontent worker. Meet this and you're fine, but if you don't have enough, you'll skip the production phase. In production, produce science and culture. Lose resources for your highest revealed corruption value. Then your farms produce. Place a blue cube for each yellow cube in the column. Pay the highest revealed food cost to feed your population, losing 4 culture per shortfall. Produce resources from your mines. After production, draw a military card to your hand for each unused red cube to a maximum of 3 drawn, and retrieve your action cubes. Between your start of turn and actions phase, you can take one politics action, and this is usually playing a military card which shows the crown icon. Some of these also have a red cube cost. Options include, you can prepare an event, play a green event card face down on the left pile, then flip and resolve a card from the middle pile. When the middle stack is empty, the left stack is shuffled and moves across. Events have a variety of effects, but a particular one of note is a territory. When revealed, players bid in an auction to colonize it, and the winner meets the bid with permanent colonization points by discarding military bolster cards from hand, and makes up the strength difference by returning military units all the way to the yellow bank. At least one unit must be thus paid, even if the bid can be met otherwise. The winner gains the territory for its immediate and ongoing effect. You can play an aggression, pay red cubes to attack an opponent and compare your strength with theirs. If they can make up the difference by paying military cards, face up for the shield or face down for 1 strength each, then nothing happens, otherwise the aggressor claims the spoils of the card. You could start a war. Choose the opponent and pay the red cubes, and for now nothing else happens. But in your next start of turn, so after you've each had a complete turn to build your armies, you now compare your army's strengths without any further chance to bolster. Whether aggressor or defender, the higher strength wins, and the winner claims spoils which increase as the margin of victory goes up. You can offer a pact to an opponent, and they may accept or decline, but your action ends either way. This provides some sort of mutual benefit, but unless otherwise stated, don't preclude future aggression or war. You can also cancel a pact as your action. Pacts aren't used in the 2-player game. Finally, if your position is hopeless, you may resign as your politics action, and there are rules provided for resolving your departure. The game plays in 4 ages, each with a civil and military deck. Cards are removed based on player count. To set up, deal out Age A civil cards, and 2 more Age A military events than there are players in the current stack. In the special first round, each player has only as many white cubes as their position in turn order. The only legal action is taking civil cards, and the row is not replenished between player turns. Then replenish the card row once from the Age A deck, replace the rest with the Age 1 decks, and begin playing as normal. When the civil deck empties, the next age begins. You lose antiquated cards, that's anything 2 eras older than the new era. This applies to any antiquated cards in hand, and any leaders, pacts, or unfinished wonders in your tableau. Players lose 2 cubes from their yellow banks. In Age A, the events are helpful, often giving you free builds if you have a spare worker. Aggressions and pacts get added from Age 1 and wars from Age 2. Late Age tactics have 2 strength values, the lower of which applies if any antiquated unit is in the set. In Age 3, the events, wonders and leaders are all geared towards objectives which will score you culture. All cards get stronger and more expensive as the game goes on, leading to significant snowballing of all abilities. When Age 3 ends, finish the round unless it's currently the first player's turn, and then play 1 more round, starting no more wars. Resolve all Age 3 events that have been prepared, and the player with the most culture wins.
Thanks for watching, and if you like this video, maybe you'd like to watch this next one. Have a great day, bye!